Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast to some degree.
For those of you who are new here or don't know us, we are your number one companion to navigating the post-grad lifestyle. Whether you're in graduate school, the workforce, or somewhere in between, we want to make this podcast your ability to be seen as a young adult in the world. And as you already know, I'm your favorite co-host, Jahari, and the resident BA of the duo.
And I'm Brittany, your other co-host, your resident STEM-loving entrepreneur and all-around nerd.
Well, Brittany, introduce our guest. There's 3 people here.
Oh yeah, there is 3 people here. Not the one that you guys know from before, but yeah, today we have a wonderful guest. It's my brother Lee.
Hi.
Unfortunately, he did get a BA degree, so I'm back in the minority. But yeah, Lee.
It's okay. You should be used to being in the minority.
Wow. Okay. But Lee, yeah, I don't really want to introduce you for yourself. So you want to introduce yourself to the listeners, kind of tell us what you studied in school, what are some of your hobbies, and kind of what you're doing now.
Yeah, of course. I'm Lee, and I went to the University of Michigan in undergrad. I studied a lot of things.
A lot of things.
I double majored in psychology and economics, and then I minored in Japanese language and culture and music. After undergrad, I actually got a job at Discord, which is a tech company, as a legal analyst because I wanted to do law for my career, and I got lucky to get the job for sure. Started as an intern and then got a full-time job. So now I'm here in Austin, and I'm working full-time remotely, and I guess outside of work, I play a lot of volleyball, and I started producing music, but haven't gotten too into it because volleyball is life right now. So, yeah.
And that's fair. What are these records on the wall back here?
Oh, I have a lot of records now, especially because
I
Brittany got
can't
me a couple.
lose.
I have SOS by SZA. I have Willow. I've got Doja Cat. The 2 new ones I got are Lauryn Hill and Kendrick's new album. So, yeah, I have a record player that
I was gonna say, do you
love.
have something to play it on, or are
Yeah,
they just
I do.
decoration?
No, they're
I
just
do
for
have a
decoration on the wall.
Yes.
Mine
Yeah.
would be, I think I'm gonna inherit a record player, like when somebody dies. I won't say who, so that I'm not like putting it out in the atmosphere.
Okay.
But um, maybe then I'll start buying vinyls. But I only get CDs now. I still have
Oh,
CD players. Like,
really?
yes, I do. I
I
do
feel
in
like
the
vinyl
house.
player or like record players are more aesthetic. Like
I agree,
CDs are
but
just
like
like
everybody's doing that now, so it's not fun
true.
anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing
Yeah,
it
you're
now.
right.
We both have one, yeah. Yeah.
Plus, they're so
Um,
expensive. I mean, not the record players. Like I understand
Oh
those
yeah,
make it
Vinyls are
cool,
vinyls are
but
expensive,
vinyls
yeah.
are
expensive.
very expensive. I go into
Very expensive.
the vinyls. You know, they still sell cassettes at some places. Like that's how nostalgic people have gotten for physical media. Is
No
like
thanks.
they will buy cassettes. You can't even play that in cars. And you know how much money you have to pay to get a
Right.
cassette player in your car now? Please.
Right.
Anyway, well, yes. Okay. Well, Lee, it is so great to have you here.
Thank you.
Um, Brittany, you had the first question.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess before we dive into kind of the difference in post-grad experience from what we've been talking about on the podcast, I did want to do updates, just, as our regular routine.
Right.
It's been a month again since we recorded the last episode.
Really?
I think so,
I thought
yeah.
it had been longer.
We're doing terribly this season with recording, but
You know what? I'm doing the best with what I got, and that's what y'all are getting. Y'all are getting the best that
that's
I
good.
got when I have it to give.
Period.
Amen.
Period.
You go first. Wait, you got okay. The last time, okay. Let's recap. Last time, I think you had just gotten promoted, or maybe you had
Yes,
just been
yeah.
told you were going to be promoted. One of the two. Yes, because I had just started that new job. So yeah, it has been over a month.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's been a minute. Yeah.
Okay, so what's new? I mean, you
Um,
graduated from
Oh, from the program, yeah.
yes,
I graduated from my program, you know,
that's right, professionally developed guys.
yeah, yeah, something like that. I recently bought myself a bass guitar, so I'm kind of picking that back up. Um, yeah, not really too many updates like in terms of life, but I'm just kind of picking back up
Have you
hobbies.
done anything new to the apartment?
Yeah, I'm starting my music corner, so I have a
Okay.
record player as well. I have my
Inspired by me.
bass. Not inspired by you. Oh my
Look,
gosh.
look.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, kind of building that corner, building my little record wall too. It doesn't look that aesthetic like his does right now, but it's working. And then, yeah, just learning different songs on bass. But what's up with you, Jahari? What's going on?
Well, I've already said that I got a new job.
Yeah, I don't think you
Congrats.
officially said that last time.
I really don't want this in there because I'm just gonna be vague about what it is and not say it because there could be another new job. And you all would never know. I'm just gonna say new job, okay? I'm never gonna say that
Right.
I'm not gonna say it again. But I got a new job. Shout out to Ari Lennox. I'm gonna play New Apartment by Ari Lennox, but it's about a job.
I thought the job was
Period.
about or like regarding RE Linux. I was like, oh.
Oh, gas. Gas. Wait,
I was
have
like,
you seen
wow.
I was at her single release party.
Oh, what?
Yes. Have you never seen Can you see that?
No.
Oh,
I
okay, hold on. Let me change. Hold on. Let me change. Let me change so you can see. Oh, I didn't mean to go
Not the
to the
Zoom.
stage.
The
I didn't
Zoom.
mean to go to the stage. My God. Okay, whatever. Can you can
Oh, I see the
vaguely
picture.
see?
Yeah, I
There
kind
Oh,
of
we
see
go.
wow.
it.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
Yes, I was at her single release party in September. I should have asked her for a job.
You should.
Maybe you should have.
Right.
Why not?
But like I feel like being on payroll of an artist who goes on like hiatuses like her. It's like being on Jasmine Sullivan's payroll. Like she will be in
Yeah.
demand, but
Hmm.
like, damn, like, what am I gonna do in between?
I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
Um,
well,
yes,
yeah, I guess we can jump into kind of the
well,
conversation here.
yes.
Yeah, I kind of was curiously because I mean, me and Jahari kind of both jumped into the workforce semi immediately after graduating. Like we had different timelines there, but you know. Um, but yeah, I guess like looking back, what are some pivotal kind of moments in your undergrad life that led you to want to pursue a post grad experience?
Mm. Well, I will say that at the beginning of it was definitely ups and downs. One, I thought, oh, I'm definitely going to law school after undergrad. That was my first thought. And then I started undergrad, went into research, and then I
Mm,
thought, oh, maybe I want to do research. And research was great, and I did like psychological research, um, and that was my passion at the time. Till I realized that the research community is not stable at all, and I was like, okay, maybe not research. And getting, I thought I was going to get my PhD. That's what I thought at one point. And I was like, no, no thanks. So I went back to the idea of wanting to go to law school. By my junior year, I was like, shoot, well, I have no experience with law at all. And like, I was like, I have to figure out how to get an internship or something. So I started applying, got rejected to almost everywhere except
wow.
Discord, which was probably the most competitive process that I went through. So I got super lucky, and then I was like, okay, I'm definitely doing law. Still wasn't sure when I started my job, and then I was like, I love this. So then, yeah, I was like, definitely after I'm done with Discord, I'm going to law school, which is gonna be interesting because I like not being in school, but I that's definitely my passion. So I'll be back.
Yeah, no, that actually like kind of leads into another question that I have, which is like, since you actually took the gap year, because me personally, if I took a gap year, it would end up being a gap life. So I'm wondering what is like solidifying in your mindset that you want to go to law school.
I think for me, especially in the field of law, there's a lot of knowledge that I don't know that I wish I did know, and I have to go to lawyers to be like, "Oh, what what makes sense here?" or like, "What is your reasoning here?" And I just want to have that all for myself so that I can A, teach other people and B, be able to do my job and make a lot of more money as
Right.
well. So, yeah, it's definitely something that I want to do. Even though there are a lot of options to do be in the legal field without going to law school. Obviously, I'm in a position like that right now, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, I just want to learn. I love learning, and I know that there's a lot more to learn. So yeah.
Yeah.
And so, okay, well, to follow up on that,
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to draw out the link, right?
Yes.
Between like, okay, you like research, which is
Mhm.
absolutely necessary to get through law school and then to be a
Yes.
Yes.
lawyer, right? But what do you think are like the skills that you develop that are most important in what you do now? Like law school be damned, right? But like what you've chosen as like your first career move, right? Like what do you think are the most important things that you've learned in your undergrad career that you apply now? And it doesn't have to be just like technical, like work related. It could be like other things.
Mhm.
But yeah.
I would say, honestly, being able to comprehend like a large text, and not to roast people that do STEM fields,
Excuse
but
me.
but I think
Oh, wow.
economics and psychology
Yeah.
were very science based, and they're great, and it helped me do complex problems and stuff like that. But the most important for me is being able to quickly read through stuff and figuring out what is important in it. And I think a lot of like, especially like Japanese language and culture, reading through like large text that I had no idea what the heck it's talking about, and being able to pick up the important stuff is a really important skill, especially in the field of law, that I found helpful in my job now. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Because there's just a lot of stuff that you'll read and you'll be like, dang, this is really boring sometimes. But like, you gotta find what's important. And yeah, that's the most important for me, for sure.
Yeah. And I guess like yeah, that kind of builds when when you're in a gap year environment where you can like build those skills. Um, I guess I wanted to ask, or just like if you can share with people who are also considering a gap year, like what are maybe ways that you fought burnout in a way? Like if you have this goal of going to law school and you're like not there, you know,
Mm.
like waiting for this opportunity,
Mhm.
what is something that, you kind of think about to keep going?
For me, it's like, how can I get closer to my end goal
Mm,
while I'm in this stage? Because a lot of people will be like, okay, you're given this job and this is what you have to do, and then they just settle for that. But what helps me is like always asking for stuff like more complex task to keep me interested, because honestly, I started off just reviewing NDAs and that just got so tiring. So I was like, I need something else. I need a different type of contract to review. I need a more complex contract to review. And asking for that, because some people would be like, oh, like they're not ready to handle it. But if you just throw yourself out there and be like, I can do it, sure. Like teach me. And then they teach you and you're like, oh wait, I can do this. And then it'll make you realize that yes, there's a lot more to learn, but you can do the complex stuff before you even get to law school. So, yeah.
Mm.
yes.
Okay, but why law school still? I think I'm still one. Like what is it about the law that you love
Mm.
so much that you want to go pursue it professionally?
Yes. So, originally, I didn't know the answer to that. I just wanted to go to law school and I just thought, okay, law's cool. Like, I like debating, it's very surface level. But now, working in the legal field, I realize how connected, especially in the type of law I'm doing. I'm working in house for a company. I realized how much the legal field matters in making business decisions.
Mm.
And I love working with contracts and making sure that like things are in place. I just like the idea of having safeguards and putting your company's interest first, and
Mm,
like I guess fighting for those like provisions in contracts. I That's super interesting to me. And I want to do contract law specifically. IP
Oh wow.
is fine. IP is fine. I also do IP work. It's fine. but not
So can
really
you
my
explain what
interest.
IP is for people who
Yes,
don't know what IP is?
intellectual property
Yeah.
is IP, and it's basically the company's brand, like whether it's like logos or catchphrases or what have you. But it's like basically a ton of tedious work and being like, hey, you can't use our logo, and then like taking down said logo. Yeah, it's just very tedious, and it's very like the process of filing like trademarks and stuff. It's very long and kind of boring to me. But contract law is very like you're always interacting with a ton of different companies, even like the big names like Google and YouTube, and they'll try to bully you, but you push back, and I love that. I love like fighting back with like important people.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. No, yeah, no, it's definitely exciting to fight back with like, companies that, think they own everything. So like I
Yeah.
definitely understand that
Right.
interest.
And what about like, okay, so like obviously we live under certain conditions
Mm,
with the certain leadership.
yes.
So like being a lawyer and like seeing how law firms like capitulate, like what makes not necessarily actually I don't want to ask you the boring question, which is what makes you still want to be a lawyer? And more like how do you see your career
Mm,
thriving despite like what precedence is taking place? Um, and then like also I know you said that you like being in-house. We have like similar conversations in like working in communications and stuff about being in-house versus like
right.
for you will be a firm, but like for us it's an agency. And like if that's also like coloring your decision about like, well, I don't really care what they're doing at law firms because I want to work in-house. That kind of thing.
So that's a really good question. So for law firms specifically in this administration, there's a lot of targeting, especially based on DEI initiatives and stuff like
Hmm.
that. But for in-house, it's more like, what is this company doing that would make the administration mad? Whether it's
Mm.
like, are they making being firm about because companies have a larger voice.
Hey everyone, it's Brittany. If you made it this far into the podcast video, I just wanted to take the time and thank you for watching. And don't forget to click that bell icon, like, comment, and subscribe. Now back to the video.
Than like a law firm does. So what they do is like, okay, we're gonna attack you legally. Like, what are your child policies actually as strong as they should be? So they'll take you to court, like you've probably seen with TikTok, like and attack like some very minor thing, and it'll go on for for months and months just to be like, okay, what can we
And are
do
you
to
spending resources or like the law firm spending resources to fight that back, right? Yeah.
So yes, 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 yes. But I think what is different about in-house is, again, you're you're basically defending your own company and your own company's interest, and you have power in that because there's not a government that is like funding everything like
Mm.
that goes into your company. But I think that in the future, in the future of my career, it's really just honestly I think it's more exciting that that happens because there's more complex issues that you'll have to deal with and a lot of change that comes with that, especially with policy around AI, for example,
Hmm.
or just child safety in general. Um, I just like the idea of having to forget everything that you learned in law school, for example, and reset what you've previously been taught.
Yeah.
And you'll see that with lawyers a lot. Like basically their law education is not too helpful. It's just like the way that they think about things, and that's what's useful. So, um, yeah, I don't think that's gonna really change my ambitions and future career decisions, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's talk about you moving. So you decided to go to Austin. You are originally from Atlanta. You did not put
Yes.
that in your introduction.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So I'm gonna need you to like
Yes.
come and claim them, right? Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But what about like what made you want to make the move, and what do you think has like been the best part of the move? Is that like how you want to? Actually, I don't know if you should answer that, but depending on what your answer is. Um, hey listeners, and then and then
Right?
and then like is this like your plan to like stay in Austin to do law
Mhm.
school or like go somewhere else, come back, go somewhere else completely forever again and whatever.
Great question.
Walk us because Brittany stayed in her hometown. I'm also in like where I grew up too. So, um,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. You guys are strong for staying in the place that you grew up in, but I no, jokes aside, I loved Atlanta and I loved my family. I just I love change. No, guys,
The way you said that
guys.
was just.
I love Atlanta and I
I
love my
personally
family.
I love change, and when I graduated from Michigan, I just wanted to start somewhere completely new. I didn't know much about Austin at all. I've heard great things about it, so I was
Mhm.
like, why not? Like, and I was tired of cold weather, so I didn't want to be in Michigan anymore. So I moved to Texas. I think that long term, I'm not sure
Mhm.
because depending on where you go to law school might affect what where you can practice law,
Hmm.
depend like what bars you pass, etc.
Right.
So if I end up in California, which my dream school is Stanford, hard school to get into, so
I
fingers
was
crossed.
not
But
expecting that at all.
yes, I would like to go to Stanford. But if I end up at Stanford, California is an easy choice for me, and
Mhm.
I'm sure it's easy to go back to Texas as well because it's a great law school. I'd be able to pass multiple bars at that
Mhm.
point, but usually where you go to law school is basically where you stay. And
Yeah.
I want to stay in Texas because I love Austin. Austin's great. My favorite part of Austin is just, I think it's like more, there's more things to do throughout the
Mhm.
year, in my opinion. And like, I feel like
Compared
it's
to
like,
Michigan?
compared to, yeah, definitely compared to Michigan. Definitely compared to Michigan. And I feel like people are just like, you got that Texas hospitality. Everyone's super
Oh, are
nice.
you?
In
You're
Austin,
saying they have it. I thought you were saying.
yeah,
I was like,
no,
oh.
no, not in Michigan. I love Michigan. To all the Michiganders out there, I love you. But yeah, I love Texas. Texas is great, but I want to stay here long term. But if that's not in the cards, that's fine.
Interesting.
Okay, you kind of like hinted at this just a little bit, but I was wondering if you could walk us through kind of what it's like preparing for like a post grad exam. So in this case, this is
Mm,
you preparing for the LSAT.
Mhm.
Some people might be preparing for, the MCAT, stuff like that. But alongside you doing those extracurriculars in your gap year,
Right.
how's that life?
And
honest.
adjusting to a new city.
Oh
And
yes,
adjusting
And
yeah.
to a
while
new
adjusting to a
city.
new city,
Yeah.
right? Like just all of that, like yeah.
So I actually started preparing for the LSAT my junior year, and I studied a lot during my junior year summer, or maybe it was the year before. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The summer before my junior year, I studied a lot for the LSAT, and then I took the LSAT a lot later. So like, I think I took the LSAT. Yeah, took the LSAT after my junior year. So I had all of school. I was so busy in school, I could not study for the LSAT. But
Yeah, we,
yeah,
we heard your double major, double
yeah,
minor,
yeah. I
research
so
lab.
yeah, I studied all in the summer, and then I took it the next summer, is what happened. But I didn't actually do that great on the LSAT. So once I got my full time job, then I studied again, and then like retook it, and still did okay. But I I'm not sure if I'm going to law school immediately next year, and might stay at Discord for another year, which honestly I prefer. I like having more work experience, especially for law school. They're looking for that a lot more now. So, um, yeah, it's hard to do in school, but outside of school, if you take a gap year, it's a lot easier.
Hmm,
Mm.
So, yeah.
yeah.
Now, let's dig a little deeper. So last year, I felt like we as a podcast, as like a space for discourse, we've tried to be very real about like the stuff that matters beyond the paper and the technical kind of skills, whatever, right? And so last year, I felt like we spent a lot of time talking about friendships,
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think we talked about dating on this show.
We didn't. We have not.
I feel like
We
that would be
should
kind of
not touch
awkward.
that at
I
all.
feel like,
Thank you.
yeah, that's for the phone calls afterwards. Okay,
Yeah.
right, Lee, we'll have to put you on the. Actually, no, because Brittany. Anyway, let me start over. Let me start over because Brittany, I don't want to expose you. Hold on. Let me.
Uh, what do you mean?
Okay.
Just keep talking. We were
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. So I want to know about like your experience trying to make friends, trying to. I don't know how social you are, so like give the audience some like audience and me some context about like how social you are. I know you play volleyball, but like even beyond that, like I know that's an easy way to make friends, but like how else are you making friends? Like you said you like to do stuff like year round. I'm assuming volleyball is not year round.
It kind of is actually,
Oh,
but
okay. Let me take that back. So volleyball is year round. So what else other than volleyball? Are you in bro culture? Or are you like upside down with the kegs? Like what is it giving for you?
um, when I first moved to Austin, most of the way that I made friends was volleyball. Like I moved here, I was like, oh, I need to make friends. Literally the first like week, I was like, I went to like this volleyball rec center, and then I made some friends there, and then like literally most of my friends are like kind of through volleyball, but
Hmm.
gaming is the other side of things. I had some friends that were already in Austin that played games, and we had a server, and so we met up and we had like board game nights like almost every Friday, and
Hmm.
it's just like it's a nice way to like just be active and
Right.
then be like super social on the other side, and then work, and then just like your hobbies, like by myself. I'm an introvert, so I like having my individual hobbies, but I feel like I've
Hmm.
become a lot more social here naturally because I live alone now, and
Hmm.
like now I feel like I need to force
It is
myself to go
so
out.
hard for me to believe that y'all's mom birthed two introverts. That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That's insane. Like not even one of you.
We definitely get it from our dad, I think. Like, yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I think that like I outwardly show that I'm an extrovert, but I'm not. Like everyone will be like, "Oh, you're such an extrovert."
Yes.
I'm not.
When I meet you, I'm gonna come back to the podcast, and that's gonna be my update. Oh, Brittany, actually, by the way, we need to do live in Austin that we couldn't
Live in
Live
Austin.
in
that we
Austin.
Live
couldn't
in
do
Austin, actually.
that we couldn't do previously. Let's do it
That's funny.
Absolutely. No, that would
on
be
the
really fun.
on the pending trip to Austin.
Right, right.
There's plenty of space here. Plenty of space.
For sure. I was wondering too, just kind of staying on the deeper track, like, did you ever feel, and maybe we can all kind of answer this, but like, did you ever feel pressure to kind of stick to a traditional timeline when you were
Ooh.
graduating?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say. Okay, I'll start with this. I felt that for law school, especially like going to law school, I thought that like from high school to undergrad, it had to be undergrad to law
Post grad
school.
school,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I thought that was the traditional route, but actually KJD is what you call it from kindergarten to JD.
Oh.
Is very
I was like, I've never heard that term before.
it's a very low percentage of people who go to law school. A lot of people
Mm,
go and take gap years, et cetera, et cetera. But because I wasn't focused on law in my undergraduate career, and I didn't have a lot of law inspiring people in my circles, I didn't know that, and I was basically by myself. So like, that's what I initially thought was normal. But I'm glad that I got the opportunities I did, so that I didn't force myself down that track because
Mhm.
it's probably been very painful to go down.
mm.
But yeah, how about you guys?
I think I did as well, but this was also back when I was first starting college. Again, just to remind people, if you don't know me, I majored in biochemistry and molecular biology, was planning to go to med school, and then I hit my junior year and I was like, I am burnt out and I am not going to school for another 8 years. So I think for me, I definitely had that traditional path in mind where, like, oh, this is the best way to make money kind of thing. And like, I to go to med school, had to study like super hard and like all these medical science things in undergrad and study for the MCAT with everyone else. And I was just like, there are other ways, one, to make money if that's really my goal, which I don't think that's really my goal, but um, actually following something that I'm passionate about rather than what people put in your head, right? So yeah, I think in that sense, I think I had a pressure to meet expectations of, being the doctor of the family kind of thing. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't go that route. I feel like I would be a lot less happy and be a lot less free right now being in med school. So yeah, what about you, Jahari?
Um, okay. I'm gonna back up a little bit actually. I'm gonna back up a little bit actually. Okay, so I feel like when you are a high achieving kid,
Mm,
you always have expectations on you, even if they're like just internally motivated, because you internalize what everybody else says about you
Mm.
as like your motivation. So I want to say that, which is one of the reasons why I went so far for college, and I would have went further, but I didn't think my should have been in California somewhere. I think I picked the right city to be in, right? Like I should not have been in San Diego. I don't know what I would have been doing. Um, but I think it was like the space to be free, and one thing that I like very intentionally did was not live by anybody else's expectations in college, right? Outside of like graduating, and like the requirements that that takes. So I felt like coming out of college, I felt like it wasn't more so a traditional path. It was just kind of like we're supposed to be working. Again, that self like internalized like message like we're supposed to be working. What is happening to this job market?
mm,
What and this is before all the articles started coming out about like what was happening to graduates because I don't think they had like 2021 the story of like 2021 and 2022 is kind of like the economy's doing better. COVID's over.
Mhm.
Right? Like we're you can't have stories about like the job market is shit. Young people are suffering at the same time that you're trying to have right kind of like big narratives about the positive direction we're like moving in the world or in this country. But by the time 2023 came, those articles started dropping. I saw them in the Washington Post, where New York Times, everywhere. And I think it was freeing to know that I wasn't the only person
mm.
that was like going through a kind of like experience that we did not expect. Because it wasn't that we were being told that the job market was shit. We were being told that like you're gonna get a job, use your connections.
Right.
Oh, I will say, I'm not answering your question at all, by the way, really.
No, no,
But
this is good though.
I will also say one thing that I hated about being jobless is that everybody says the same thing, and I'm starting to think they were getting paid to say it. Because when you don't have a job,
Paid
right?
actors.
They you know LinkedIn. You
Mhm.
go on LinkedIn, everybody says the same
It's the
thing.
toxic
It's the
posters.
yes,
The
it's like
yeah.
I know that you weren't able to eat out for 6 months. You've been unemployed for a year. Stop it. Stop it. Stop trying to act like, it's like sunshine and rainbows and like this is now that I'm on the other
Mhm.
side that this is what I do. You are not a therapist. You're not a therapist. You're not an expert. You're a worker. Like everybody else. You're a regular person. Oh my God. I wish people would stop trying to treat unemployment as a personality trait. Okay, I'm done.
Mm.
But I think that's what I think, but like all that to say, to go back to the question about like expectations, it is also so limiting to have expectations about how you should handle a traumatic experience, such
Mm.
as not achieving what
You feel
society
like,
tells you you should
yeah.
be achieving or
Yeah.
what you feel like you deserve after what you've already accomplished. Um, yeah, I'm gonna leave that there.
That's good.
And maybe we should dive into that in the future because honestly, like that's the point of our podcast is to
Yeah.
make sure that people don't feel alone in what they're experiencing. And yeah, that was a great point that.
Yes, and I'm gonna be annoyed when I see myself not looking at the camera saying that. I keep
I was
forgetting that
thinking
we're on
that as you
video
were
now.
saying it,
I
I
keep
was like,
forgetting we're
he's.
at video on video now, and I hate that like side profile shit. But
Yeah,
you
but
know what? We're gonna do it. There'll be another episode. I don't watch the episodes, y'all. I like go like and like maybe I'll comment and then I like let it go. Um, but yeah, that's all I have to say.
That's
That's it. And
And
we're
honest,
running over.
yeah, no, I was like, honestly, that was a great
Yes.
place to wrap. And I was just wondering, Lee, do you have anything to plug for yourself? Do you want people to follow you somewhere or something?
um
Yeah, because
you
I
could
don't even follow you.
oh if you wanted to follow me on Instagram, I guess, the underscore Lee Hick is my Instagram, and LinkedIn, you can just look up Lee Hickman on LinkedIn. I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Wait, hold on.
thank you.
Oh.
What? Are you following him
I
right
have to
now?
follow Lee Hick. Let me be an example. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, we appreciate you coming
Some
in
of these
today,
people
Lee.
following you before me is crazy, but we'll talk about that on the side.
Oh.
um.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, yes. Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of To Some Degree. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to keep supporting us. The more you view, we can get brand deals. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah. And
yes.
thank you, Lee, for coming in and talking with us about your post-grad experience, kind of giving us a different perspective
Thank you for
on,
having me.
yeah, what goes
Yes.
on, so.
It was great to be in the majority again.
Good. Don't push his ego too far.
I will. I will. I get it. Cause the BAs, they struggle in school, so we gotta take what we can get. We can take what we can
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Mom, if you're watching, get on your son.
get.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, thank you guys again, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.